Welcome to Multimedia Magicians. My name is Abhijit. Before we proceed, everyone, please turn on your cameras. Let me introduce our Toastmaster for today. Our Toastmaster is a division director. Please help me welcome Nora Jackson. Nora, it's all you.
Thank you, Abhijit. The concept and introduction for multimedia magicians. The purpose of this group is to learn multimedia techniques like graphic, audio, video, music, podcasts, and apply the techniques to enhance your presentation, communication, and leadership skills. Today, our timer for the meeting is Lori Whaley. And we have lightning slides will be presented by Abhijit Joshi.
Perfect. I will start the lightning slides. Thank you so much, Nora. So what you're going to see here, you're going to see a painting and then you have to speak for 30 seconds. You will see the timer at the corner. Okay?
Oh, yes.
Yes. So as this timer gets done, you have to stop so that I can advance to the next slide and the next person will start. Then the first person to start is going to be Karen and then Judith. So follow your numbers. Your name has a number next to it. Okay. Karen, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Oh, the Mona Lisa, my favorite. I actually saw the actual painting in Paris, and I was there at a time when there weren't many tourists, so I didn't have to stand in line. I walked right up to her and looked at her. I could have touched her, but that would have been bad. I really do love the work of Leonardo da Vinci. I'm done, aren't I?
Yes. Aye.
I went over. Okay. I'm sorry. I wasn't watching.
Speaker number 2.
Oh, speaker number 2. I think this is a Rembrandt painting, if I am not mistaken. I am not exactly sure, but I think it is. I have been in a Rembrandt museum in Amsterdam, and I loved his paintings. It's quite interesting with all these different figures. He is just quite wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Speaker number 3.
Oh gosh. I should know this one, and I am absolutely blanking. For I don't know, for some reason, Handmaid's Tale comes to mind, but I know that's not it. Yeah, I feel kind of silly about this, but I'll pass.
Thank you, Michael.
This painting was painted by me when I was about 16 years old after I almost drowned in a pool. I was newly here from Jamaica and I thought I could swim because I used to swim in what we call my grandfather's river. And I came here and I tested honors in PE and I had to jump in the pool because they were trying to make a decision if I could teach swimming lessons and I almost drowned. I painted this to quiet all that fear that was in me after almost drowning in that pool.
Oh my goodness, we're having such a party. It is probably a French impressionist, and they are having a wonderful time. Look at the way the women are dressed. They are so regal and beautiful. And at a time, it marks a time that we don't see much anymore. And so enjoy the painting and enjoy a life that you may or may not ever get to experience.
Thank you.
Oh, another painting from Monet. And it's amazing because this one is the one that I love so much. I have to say that with the Impressionists, also during that time, the swirling of all the skies, it really is saying something which, even though we cannot explain it, I cannot explain it. I would say that it is something that cannot take my eye out of it. And in fact, in my kitchen, I have a tiny little example. It's just like maybe just a reprint of this. And I'm so glad I have it here. Thank you.
Perfect. Linda.
Yeah, it's a wonderful the painting. I remember that I saw it in the Chicago Museum, something like that. And this one is but I forgot which is the name. It's a painting. But it should be the picture is the describer is the very peaceful in the garden and enjoyed the happiest moment. And we can saw lots of the happiest moment inside. So that is a wonderful atmosphere in the painting. Thank you. Go back.
All right, Edward Munch, The Scream. I'm enjoying this little stroll through Impressionist painting. And we just went through a bunch of French painters, and I believe this man is from a Norwegian country. I cannot remember which one. And isn't it interesting how we recognize the famous paintings and yet don't know their names? So I'm motivated to go look up a few painter names tonight and review which ones, who painted what.
Next one is for Nora. Nora, it's for you. Nora, you're muted.
Thank you. I have no idea what this is. I don't believe I've ever seen it. In all of my humanities studies and visiting museums, I have no idea who it is or what it is. It doesn't even look like an impression. Well, I'll research it. Thank you.
Tia, you are up next.
Me?
Yes, Tia. Yep.
Abstract painting is just so incredibly thought-provoking because your eyes just cannot go figure out what this whole thing is about. It makes your brain all confused. And I think the whole purpose of it is to make you go, huh?
Back to you, Nora. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Abhijit, for all those thought-provoking pictures. I think I'll have to go and start looking up some. Because we're very familiar, and like Elaine said, yet we've forgotten the titles of those works of art. Right. Next on our agenda is time for our speaker. The speaker's time, it will be from 5 to 7 minutes timer. Chie, Dynamic Leadership. She is presenting from Dynamic Leadership, Level 1, Project 1, Evaluation and Feedback. Speech number 1, her title is Using Virtual Backgrounds. The purpose of this speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Chie, Using Virtual Backgrounds.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guest. Wow, Michael, Judith, Denise, Sally, thank you all for coming. Well, this is an evening club, so how about if I present you what some refreshments? How about this? Is it happy hour time yet? Oh, maybe you're in a different time zone and this is really a breakfast time for you. So how about this? Donuts. Wouldn't this be a really fun way to welcome guests to meeting? You can serve virtual refreshments and it doesn't cost you anything because you didn't have to run to the store. In today's presentation, I would like to share 3 different ways in where we can use virtual background. It's something that comes built into Zoom and we can all use it and show off our multimedia magic. So the first way that you were all familiar with virtual background is the timer's background, the red, yellow, green screens. How many of you have used that? I bet everyone has. This is going to be a refresher, but if you've not used a timing background, here's a really good 7-minute video created by my friend Ken Braley, where he will show you exactly how you can load your virtual background screens, how to change the screens, etc., etc. So you can go to bit.ly/Zoom timer and pick up that video. And if you want the Toastmasters logo official type of background, you can go to toastmasters.org and look up the Zoom timer background, and then you can go ahead and download it. It's in all these different languages, but the bottom one is in English. Now, did you know that you can also use Zoom background for another type of role? When you are the Toastmaster of the day, like Nora is today, she could choose to use a virtual background during the round robin evaluation. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. At my club, at my home club, what I like to do is I like to show this screen in between the speakers when we're prompting the members to give feedback on the speech. And I use this background to remind people, okay, we're going to give a feedback in the chat. Please limit it to things that you saw, heard, or felt. And if you want to give an advice on how they can make the speech better, you can try these words like, I invite you to try. It makes it just a bit softer. So here's a virtual background that we could potentially use for this club. When we have a round robin evaluation between the speakers, we can remind everyone that, okay, we're going to give our feedback, but it's 1 minute or less, and avoid repeating the previous feedback given by someone else. Having this virtual background as the Toastmaster, as you go around the room, it's a really great way for people to remember what they're supposed to do. But most of you are probably interested in using a virtual background as a speaker, right? So there are two types of speeches that work really well for a virtual background. One is a travel speech. When you go to someplace different and you experience something wonderful, you want to share about it, and our vocal variety and descriptive words may not exactly capture what you've experienced. So pictures are worth 1,000 words, and you may want to show a picture, something like this. This was taken at the Monterey Bay Aquarium several years ago, and I was mesmerized with this jellyfish that was floating about with this ethereal, I don't know what you call it, tentacles, some things that are coming out of its legs, and it was beautiful. There's no way for me to describe what that sensation was like. So I show this picture, and then now you get to experience it too. Now, another type of speech that works well for a virtual background is recipes. Okay, this is a standard template that you can find on Google Docs or Google Slides, and it's a recipe template. So you can go ahead and take a picture of whatever food that you're showing, and then write your description. And just as I'm doing, I can walk or stand side by side and then do this thing, and kind of like weatherman, the weather forecast person.
Weather girl.
Weather girl, yeah, exactly. So give it a try. Using the virtual background would give you a better experience for the audience, because you get to be inside the picture and interact with the audience, as opposed to being this tiny little screen onto the side of a PowerPoint presentation that is being shared. So to recap, we can use virtual backgrounds to host a meeting by offering refreshments. Bring donuts next time. You can use your timer colors as a Toastmaster of the day, you can go ahead and do a round robin evaluation feedback, show your travel photos, and be like what our club president Pooja did, share your recipe. And most of all, remember, what we want to do is to have our background match what we're speaking about. So use a blank background like this whenever you're not speaking about something that is in the background. It's just confusing to the folks that are watching the slides go by. So, fellow Toastmasters, I invite you to try virtual backgrounds for your next speech or for your Toastmasters role. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Chie. Thank you for that great presentation. We want to know your secrets, so maybe you'll have time to do that. At this time, we're going to do the round robin evaluation. And it is, remember, 1 minute or less for each person. Timer, you will time to speak. And at this time, I would like to call. Gallery, let me see who's. Okay, Michael, would you like to give Chia some feedback, please?
So what's the format, seen, heard, felt, and then what were the other 2 items?
But this is his first Toastmaster meeting
Oh,
ever.
this is your first meeting?
Yeah,
Yes.
so you may want to have some.
Okay, thank you. What did you
Heard,
see?
felt, avoid repeating previous feedback. Oh, that's going to get really interesting. 1
So
minute.
you get to go
or
first.
less.
So just tell us, what did you think about the presentation? Don't worry about the.
Yeah, I thought it was well done. Obviously, good use of the background, the donuts, obviously appealing, and the recipe. I thought there was strawberries there. Kind of makes me hungry, but yeah, I agree on the use of multimedia, especially in this day and age. Definitely is better than just having like a bulleted PowerPoint, presentation, or even worse, just a bunch of words. So those are good usage of more modern techniques. And the only, I guess, criticism was, I'm not sure how to explain this. Be a little bit more free flowing in the presentation. Seemed a little bit stilted. Be more expressive. Just moderate your tone a little bit more, and be a little bit more, I guess, enthusiastic. I don't know if that's the right way to characterize it, but those are some things. Show more energy in the presentation. It just felt kind of stilted, but otherwise, good job. So
Thank you. Next, can we hear from, is it Denise?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and most especially Chai. What did I see? I saw somebody who was very confident, who was very organized, and it appears that you put a lot of effort in your presentation because you delivered it in a very smooth and convincing way. What did I hear? Lots of different ways of using backgrounds, which I had no clue via Zoom. So I guess I should thank your Ajit, if I'm saying that. I apologize for pronunciation, for inviting me. Again, I felt that you delivered a very thorough and well-prepared presentation, and I saw a lot of confidence in your delivery. What would I invite you to try? Not having any experience using Zoom to the extent that you have even presented, I don't know I can offer you anything to try except to say I look forward to hearing more presentations from you.
Thank you. Thank you, Denise. Thank you. Next, Linda, would you like to give 1 minute or less feedback?
Oh yeah, the presentation is very wonderful, and the chair is very smoothly and switch. So lots of the background, the virtual background. Yeah, she did a very good job and a good presentation. So, and also I think chair is the domestic 3-way is very clearly, and also introduced how to do it delivery. So how to go ahead. So I think that is a good way. We can to try the different way, not is only for the virtual background in our Zoom meeting, right? We can try different way. So it's wonderful. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you. All right. Very good. Is that you sharing the screen, Abhijit? Okay, we're moving on to our next speaker, Abhijit Joshi. Innovative, he is working out of the Pathways Innovative Level 1, Project 1, Evaluation and Feedback Speech. The title of his speech is How to Evaluate Your Toastmasters Journey, Part 1, Speaking, the name of the speech. The purpose of the speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluators. 10 to 12 minutes. Abhijit.
Thank you so much. Next week, I have to give a presentation on how to elevate our Toastmasters journey. So as I started thinking about it, I got 3 parts. One is speaking, second is leadership, and third is influence. So today I'm just going to talk about speaking. I've come across many people, or my mentor right now, she is going to complete 40 years in Toastmasters. 40 years. I was just thinking why people stay so long in Toastmasters. So as I started thinking about it, it helped me understand the various steps people take to elevate their journey. So let's find out, what do they do? Here is the agenda for today. We're just going to talk about why speaking matters. And then I'll first share with you the secret, because there is that secret which is very important. And the third one will go through the different steps, and finally we'll do a recap. My first question to you, Karen, why does speaking matters? Yes, Karen.
It's a wonderful way to communicate all your thoughts, all your feelings, all your ideas and goals.
Very, very true. Denise?
I think it's a reflection of you and qualities, training, education. So it's important to know how to express yourself in order to leave a lasting impression of some sort.
Very, very true. Min, anything from your side? Why speaking is important? You're muted.
Sorry. Yes, it is very important because I think speaking is connecting with people. So the very first thing to speak is, someone to hear what you're speaking is to connect with that person, to understand that person. So that's the most important thing that we got.
Very, very true. Thank you, Min. As I went through your statements, the one thing that came at the back of my mind, which my friend said, he said, speaking is a superpower. We can make a big difference in people's lives with our own stories. So let's see how we can elevate our speaking. But before that, here are the few secrets I want to tell you. There are 3 secrets. The first one, which is very, very important, is we always need to have a mentor. Because when we have a mentor, they can guide us. Sometimes I don't see myself in that way, but my mentor can help me take that bigger step. Like, for example, I'm working on a keynote speech, The Way of the Well-Loved Leader. It's something beyond my comfort zone, but my mentor, Lindy, is pushing me. Hey, you can do it. And she's giving me those ideas. So having that mentor is very important. The second thing, the drive. If we have the drive, we can keep on moving forward. And the third is an acronym, CARE, C-A-R-E. And all those four things matter. C, for the calmness of the mind, because our mind is very melodramatic. Sometimes when we are moving forward, it will ask us to turn about. But that keep moving forward is very important. A, for aspiration. What do you want? Having that aspiration is very important. R, for roadmap. Once we have an aspiration, we can create how to get to that roadmap, or how we can create the roadmap so that we can achieve our aspiration. And finally, the most important thing is E. Can anyone guess what E stands for? Michael, can you guess? Mohammed?
Empathy?
No.
No.
Enthusiasm.
Education.
No.
Education.
Any more guesses?
Expectation.
Expression.
Energy.
Closer. So E for
Expectation.
very close,
Evaluation.
very close.
Elevation.
Very close. Actually, E for execution.
Oh,
Because it doesn't matter
exactly.
how big of an aspiration I have. Sometimes I used to have amazing roadmaps, but there was no execution.
Yeah.
Remember the care, calmness of mind, aspiration, roadmap, and execution. So these three things, having a mentor, having the drive, and the care, can make a big difference. So let's start through different steps. You might know most of the steps, but we'll go into the detail and I'll share my story about it. So these steps, sometimes I didn't take that. There are people around me who helped me to push forward. So let's find out. First one. It was March 4th, 2020. I had won the club level contest and I was in the area level contest. I was very excited. And I wanted to get more feedback on my speech. So I went to this club, San Jose Toastmasters, at 7 a.m. early morning. And I gave my speech in that restaurant. That restaurant was noisy because it was against a busy street. I still managed to give my speech. Everyone said, "Oh, what a good speech, good speech." But there was this grumpy old man with a white beard. He came to me and said, "Your speech is no good." A month later, I had him as my mentor. I joined that club. But that club, they had this policy of encouraging everyone to give one speech a month. So from May of 2020, I started giving one speech every month. In 2021, I gave maybe 15 speeches. 2022, I gave 21 speeches. So it really helped me to organize things and come up with my speeches at a very faster rate. So that was a game changer for me, giving speeches at a very regular interval. I was dating this girl. I wrote a beautiful script. She was a professor at UCLA. She looked at my speech and said, "Your speech sounds like an essay." She told me that your speech needs to be more conversational. Conversational. At that moment, I had no idea about it. But a few months later, I was hosting a workshop. And there, the finalist from the World Championship of Public Speaking, Aaron, he said that to make his speech conversational, whenever an idea comes to his mind, he will record the speech on his phone. and then convert it into text. When we do that, the speech becomes more conversational. I also did some research and came across a blog by Lisa Marshall, and she shares 5 secrets how to make your speech more conversational. I'll quickly go by each 5 of them. The first thing she said is use smaller sentences, shorter sentences. Shorter sentences are better because then it sounds more conversational. I used to use very long sentences, so the audience will forget what I was saying. The second thing, using contractions, ain't, aren't, didn't. It makes our speech more conversational. The third secret, using rhetorical questions. When we use rhetorical questions, it helps to get the audience's attention. The fourth one, sharing our emotions. Because when we share our inner dialogue, that makes it very conversational. So remember these secrets. Our speech should be conversational. It took me some time to make my speech more conversational. I did not join Toastmasters because I wanted to join Toastmasters. I joined Toastmasters because at that period of during that period of my life, I was in love with this lady. And she was a big inspiration. She said, if you join Toastmasters, it will change your life. I listened to her. I joined Toastmasters. And she is a phenomenal evaluator. I remember in my first month of Toastmasters, she took me to an area contest, which she won. And at that time, I decided, oh, I want to be a good evaluator. Oh my God, evaluation was hard for me. I gave my first evaluation. It was 1 minute, 47 seconds, and I was trembling. And then in the month of August of 2019, I invited Elaine Lung, who was the champion, district champion at that moment. And she gave me a clue. Hey, talk about 3 things the speaker did effectively and 3 things the speaker could do to make your speech more effective. But a year later, a breakthrough came when a fellow Toastmaster in Bahamas asked me to give a workshop on evaluations. So from that time till now, I've done over 150 to 175 evaluations, and evaluations can be very helpful. They can motivate the speaker, and it also helps us because it helps us understand ourselves and our speaking abilities. I think I'm going beyond time, but I think we still have time, so I'm going to still go on. February 8th, 2020.
Okay, how many more minutes would you like?
I will get, I'll take 7 more minutes, okay?
Timer, 7 minutes.
Yeah. It was February 8th, 2020. We were having a TLI. And that day, our keynote speaker was a world champion. His keynote was so interesting that my fellow friend just fell asleep and I took her a picture when the keynote was going on. But after the keynote, the world champion was right in front of me because I was the bookstore chair. And I thought, maybe this is the time I'll ask him this question. I asked him, hey, a contest is coming. Do you think I should participate? And he said one thing that would change my speaking career. He said, always go for more stage time, more stage time. Next day I went to work. I wrote my script. It was Sunday. And Tuesday, I went to another club to give that speech. So one thing I would encourage you to go for more contests. The more you participate, the better you can take your skills. That speech I did, I gave it 50 times. And then again, I participated in the humorous speech contest. Speeches can advance you very, very fast. It was June of 2020. And during that time, we started using Zoom. And my fellow Toastmaster, Carlos, he said, hey, you need to give a presentation on how to be effective on Zoom. I had to put all the slide deck together and I had to speak for nearly 25 minutes. It was not just a 5 to 7 minute speech. It was for 25 minutes. But that encouragement to go for longer speeches was very helpful. It was just a starting point because I did that. And the next one was how to give an evaluation. So from that time onwards, giving these longer workshops has been very helpful for speaking. It helped me to relax as a speaker. So maybe in last 3 years, 100+ workshops will help you to just be yourself, just be calm, and just connect with the audience the way you are. So I encourage you to think about giving a longer version of your speeches. This was something very hard for me. It was 2020, around June or July. I used to memorize my scripts. I used to practice my speeches 35 times. And I would hold my script with my dear life. I gave my speech in front of my girlfriend. After I gave that speech, she literally cried. She said, it's not you. But at that moment, I didn't understand. And I was not ready to let go of my script. It took me one more year of practice. Like I was an area director and our meeting was going to start. It was 6:25 and they said, they don't have a speaker. And I don't want a club to have, being an area director, I want them to have a speech. I said, okay, I'm going to give a speech. And at that moment, I had to come up with a speech, and it came from my workshop, the conversational style. I gave that speech. That was my first unscripted speech. And from that time, I started letting go. Now I can write speeches in my head. I don't have to pen it down in the paper. So letting go of your script, because then you create that connection with the audience. And final, this is something I'm still trying. I gave a speech a couple of weeks ago and people came to me and said, hey, you're so serious in your speech. There is no. So then I said, okay, what can I do? I have this guy named Kyle Hall. He's a great speaker, a 2003 third place winner of the World Championship. He's very humorous. I had a 1 hour session with him. He told me it's going to be a journey. Writing humorous speeches takes time. So I am on this journey. I got this book, Comedy Writing Secrets. And it's helping me understand about humor. Once we have humor in our speeches, we can connect with our audience's emotions at a very deeper level. So humor is something which we need to incorporate. So today I shared a lot of things with you. Let me recap first thing. Remember your why. Always remember that why. The why is very important. Why do you want to speak? Second, remember that secret. The secret is your mentor, your drive, your care. And finally, all the different steps I shared with you. Back to you.
You, Abhijit. Thank you for that speech. Now, timer, are we going to do evaluation? So would you give me, I see questions. What is that?
Don't worry about that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, it's 4 to 6 minutes. I'll just call on Mohammed. Are you still here? That's Mohammed.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. Could you give feedback to Abhijit? 1 minute.
Sure. I think it's my privilege to evaluate Abhijit, such a great speaker. So thank you for the opportunity, first of all. I'll be very brief about it. So first of all, Abhijit today shared the reason he is into Toastmaster, and he improved his speaking a lot because he talked about his girlfriend, and she first he talked about it and then he tried it. So that's like how he started. So he actually gave us the first Toastmaster journey, where he started from. The authenticity was amazing. So I love that. And then the vocal variety was amazing. So I feel like I can hear him. I can keep hearing him. I don't get bored, and I always look for his next surprise. What's coming next? It's amazing. And so the thing I would like to want you to improve, like you took a long time. So I know we like to hear from you. We like your speech, but always like if you could have a timeline, certain time you have to finish your speech. That'd be good for the audio, for the team. And another item I want to add for you, Abhijit, it's my personal opinion. That is, you mentioned a lot of things like how to be always get more stage time. All this good stuff we talked about. But one thing I wanted to add, the big goal. Let's say I'm Mayo for Cisco and I have a goal that I would like to speak in front of like 30,000 Cisco employee in Cisco Live. So I'm preparing myself. So that big goal, like long goal, I'm always working on. So that motivates you. So if you have some big, I'm sure everybody has big goals. So have that as well. Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing speech and I'm motivated. So my goal was to get motivated, and I'm motivated. So you motivated me. Thank you, as always.
Thank you.
Back to you.
Remember, 1 minute or less. Judith, good feedback.
Well, I have a few things to say about this speech. One is sometimes Abhijit's less is more. This was way too long. One thing is I am not a person who likes acronym because no one can remember them. So it's not really helpful. Secondary, it's not a conversational style, it's storytelling. I do mentor people, and so what is, I think, it makes a speech interesting is a storytelling. So then you can tell a story. For example, you talked about rhetorical question. So it would have been a good idea to give an example of this. I happen to like rhetorical questions because every time people ask, how many of you or who does what, and you have to wait till somebody answer, and sometimes nobody does, and then you stand there and to say, okay, who's going to say what? And that's true. Rhetorical question, I think, is a great thing. Now, when you say elevate Toastmaster journey, I think it could have been done to how you elevate your Toastmaster journey. I mean, we Toastmasters here, mostly Michael is new, but we know what speaking is. We come here because we want to learn to speak. And And the secrets is very interesting. You know, if you ever want to listen to Chris Anderson, who is one of the founders of TED Talks, he has this wonderful thing. What are the secrets of public speaking? And one of the main thing is to have, isn't it, an idea worth sharing? He says this all the time. And then how to communicate that idea to other people, which is basically what we want to do. So it was an interesting mixture of things in this speech, but I think it could have been done a little bit less, more condensed. So then that's what I think. So if you ever want to do this again, just condense it more and doesn't need to go so long. But thank you in any case.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to move on to one more. Elaine, would you like to give some evaluation on Abhijit, 1 minute or less?
Okay, wave at me, Nora. Thanks. So Abhi, a lot of great feedback you've gotten already. One thing I really appreciate is that you share your experience with us, and everyone should know that you are a leader in the district, in District 101. He's one of the top 3. That's why he's out there speaking. That's why he's always putting his hand up. That's what drives him forward. So, share a little bit of that context with us, because it's of interest to your audience to know that, I believe. So I would suggest that. Keep on sharing your tips. The one thing that I was missing in the speech was time and time again, you said, give it 50, give your speech 50 times. And then I wanted to hear the results. I gave it 50 times, and as a result of that, this happened, right? I gave 250 evaluations as he recommended, and as a result of that. So, just give us a little bit of feedback on how the tips helped you. Again, keep on speaking up, and you do so much for the district. I appreciate your stepping up and sharing these ideas with us.
Nora, you're muted. Nora, you're muted.
Elaine, you're also the general evaluator for the meeting. So let's just move on to the general evaluation.
Okay. And please remind me, am I introducing any evaluators, or am I just giving a high level of
You will evaluate the meeting overall. According to the agenda.
And don't forget to ask for the timers report.
Oh,
okay, let's start with the timers report, everyone. Let's hear the timers report.
Before you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so today, ladies and gentlemen, was a good example of what not to do. I learned, I have, for viewers that don't know me very well, I'm a traumatic brain injury survivor. I was reading at a 7th grade level in 2007. So I worked my way back. I went to over 1,000 appointments in order to regain wellness, and happy to share that I'm not reading at a 7th grade level. But part of the meeting was not recorded correctly until the settings things was way down the corner, and I did not see it. But Chie's speech was 6 minutes and 25 seconds. And the round robin was a little over 6 minutes, which was good. And the ones in the beginning, Karen was 28, Judith was 30, Michael was 28, Denise 30, Lori 27, Mean 30 plus, Linda 32, Elaine 30, Nora 30, and Chie 30. Okay, Abhijit's speech went over. It was 19 minutes and 12 seconds, so I timed that. And then also for the round robin, it went to 6 minutes and 24 seconds. So now you know all about me. What not to do when you're the timer. So
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. And I don't think we have any other roles, so I will just give a high-level general evaluator summary of the meeting. We started on time. We are ending on time. Always great. Good job, Toastmaster. We welcomed the guests, and the lightning round went off without a hitch. I appreciate how Abby had everything set up, and we just rolled through the prompts really quickly with the timer. Everyone grasped what was going on quickly. So thank you for getting that set up with the with an interesting way to get everyone involved at the beginning there. The speeches I felt were well prepared, and definitely both speakers knew their subjects well. When it came to the evaluation rounds, however, I would suggest that when we're calling on people to do the round robin, that we have a little preparation. And sometimes it helps Toastmaster to just do a little quick chat over to the person and pick someone who you know is going to be a lead-off round robin evaluator, shall we say, just to get a strong start and model to the other speakers how to do it. And then since especially at the end, we wanted to keep everybody at a minute, and we were going over, give them some indication, a green card, I don't know, say, look, going to give you exactly 60 seconds, and I'm going to hold up my finger and wave, whatever, just so they have a visual prompt to help them wrap it up quickly. So nobody gets off track there. And then just a comment for Abby, and that would be, if you know that you have a lot of material and that you can take that extra time, arrange for that up front, and then that way the Toastmaster will come in and interrupt your speech like that, and everybody will be fine. So just try and arrange for that ahead of time is my suggestion. And back to you, Toastmaster.
Nora, you're muted.
I know we have guests. So could the guests raise your hand? I didn't see the guests. And okay. All right. So we have Michael. Michael, do you want to tell us what you thought about the meeting? This is your first time here.
Yeah, sure. I understand. This was a good introduction, and I don't. I was first invited by Judith. Finally made time to attend. A good chance to observe folks presenting, and we're kind of doing this Rob's rules of order, as one way I guess to kind of characterize it. Don't really have any strong opinions one way or the other, I guess, but I did want to, if I may, give feedback to is it
okay, right, we don't have time for feedback now for the speaker. Yes, sorry. Okay,
right,
so
well, appreciate the opportunity then. So
okay, is this your first meeting?
Yes.
Oh, your very first Toastmaster meeting. Okay.
Oh, for all practical purposes, yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. Denise, hi, welcome.
Yeah. Hi, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Again, I got an email from, I'm going to say the last name, Josie, telling me about the club. I was interested in it because it said the focus was on Zoom meetings. I am a member, or previous member, of Almaden Oreda's Toastmasters Club. I kind of grew up in Toastmasters for my entire career. I'm retired military. I took a sabbatical just before COVID, and I haven't gone back to my club, so I've been around. I'm not sure what type of club you are, if you're specialized just in Zoom meetings. In terms of the format of Toastmasters, I noticed that some of the format, as I know, for meeting format is not being used. So maybe you have a specialized program, I don't know, because they also switch programs, and I haven't gotten involved with the new format that they're in. So, but thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure, and I definitely learned a lot about meetings and backgrounds. And
thank you for coming. Is Karen King in the corner there? Hi, Karen.
Yes. Hi.
Are you a visitor first time?
I'm a first-time visitor. I heard about your club when I was researching. I'm a member of Professionally Speaking. And so I happen to have a Tuesday night free. I do Argentine tango, and that trumps everything else. And it's usually on Tuesday nights, but I'm out of town in Florida. And so I was free to attend, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity. I'm very impressed with the way you run your meetings. They're very smooth and very professional, and yet they're very warm and welcoming. I also thought that the little looking at the picture and looking at the art and speaking was a great way to warm up everyone and get the meeting started. I really like that. So I'm impressed.
Well, we enjoy
You do a wonderful job, all of you.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. Carol, are you new? Is this your first time?
Hi, I am a member of Intercontinental Club, and I follow Abhijit to every meeting that he's around so that I can learn more. He is my mentor.
Oh. Okay, well, welcome. Glad to have you here. And what did you think about our meeting?
Yes, it's wonderful. I've been here several times. I've learned a lot. I find it interesting, and I always enjoy TA's speeches.
Thank you. Thank you. I see, let's see, Todd. Have we heard from you? Todd. Is that Todd?
Good evening, Madam General Evaluator or Ranking Master.
So tell us what you thought about the meeting, and is this your first time here?
I don't believe so. I believe I came probably about a month or a month and a half ago. I didn't recognize some of the members until I was like, wait a second, there's too many familiar faces here. This is not a new club for me to add to my list. But I had a good time for the part that I saw. Actually, I was trying to get into two other clubs that were scheduled to start at 6:30, but I ended up being the only person in the two rooms. So I said, what else is starting at in between 6 and 7 in the Pacific's time rim? And then I saw this one. I said, oh, okay, let's go check that one out. And I'm like, wait a second, I've been here before. But I had a good time watching Ajib and hanging out like a wallfly. It's always great when you can come to a club and do absolutely nothing but be entertained as opposed to the 3-ring circus.
Thank you, Todd. Judith, I know you've been here several times. Just a few words.
It's an interesting club. It's different from many other clubs that I am in, and generally in Toastmaster clubs, because they have table topics and they have different, they don't necessarily have round robin evaluations. They usually have evaluators attached to one each speaker. So this is a little different, and it's always interesting. One learns new things. Thank you for having me.
I know we have, I don't know, Stephen and Mohammed. Those are the last couple of. Stephen.
Yeah, I was. I'm also not new. I heard this club from Abhijit too. I also like Carol. Follow him around, and so Abhijit, I found humor in your story today. Your girlfriend, your love letter is like assy, right? I was cheered up by your story. And I learned a lot from you today, conversational, and I was searching also on the internet how to be conversational. Also, I like Elaine and Judy's evaluation. Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Right, well, Multimedia Magicians, we're looking for new members. We would love for you to join, consider joining our club. We love having you here. We have future projects that we're going to work on, maybe some workshops to help you with your presentations and your speeches. And Abhijit and Shie will show us how to do some of that razzle dazzle in the PowerPoint. So these are the kind of things that hopefully we can set these up. We're looking for members to make the club even stronger. I'm going to return control and conduct of this meeting to Abhijit if you have any closing remarks. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nora. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. GA has part 2 coming in. We also have Ravi, who is going to do part 2 about his journey. So stay tuned. I'll send out the agenda 2 days before the meeting. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, please ask. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you all.